You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Young and the Restless fans, we have got poor Damian dead, but Kane seems to be who the attacker was going for. So I wonder if Victor might have set this up trying to get rid of Dumas, maybe even before they got to France and they knew who was really the man behind the name. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we're going to talk about who wanted Kane dead and out of the way and who threw the knife that wound up killing Damian instead. And hey, please click subscribe if you're not following. All right, so now we know that Damian is definitely dead, not just injured. That's a total bummer for poor Lily, because Damian genuinely cared about her and they could have been a great couple. They professed feelings, they made love, and then bam, stabby, stabby, dead. But now we are left wondering who set up this stabbing. Was the one who threw the knife somebody hired to take out Kane, or was the one holding the knife the person who directly wanted him dead? You know, was this arranged for hire, or was this an in-person attack? There's a list of suspects that Chance is going to be looking into, but I think that he needs to think long and hard about who really wanted Kane dead and whether the people at the party are capable of murder. Victor's ruthless. Phyllis has killed before, and there's lots of motive for lots of people. Billy's an attempted killer. He's, tried to murder Adam more than once. Lily went to prison for the death of Hillary and her baby. Nikki has run over people while drunk. Billy backed over somebody at once, I believe. I think also while drunk. Sharon stabbed a guy to death. I think she's killed more than one person. So really, there's no shortage of people fully capable of taking a life, and they're there at the chateau together. So things look worse for Kane, though, since Damian was his romantic rival, but the knife seemed aimed at Kane, and we've got some ideas of who might be behind this killing, because I just don't think the mystery person in the gloves was the mastermind. I think they might have been hired for the job. So the first person to talk about is Holden. He's not at the party. He's back in Genoa City doing dirty work for Kane. So if it were Holden, he's got the perfect alibi. If he cooked this up, we know from Audra that Holden's a risk-taking psycho that she's kind of scared of. So maybe he's so salty that he was working for Damian and Dumas, and then he fell out with them and he got fired. Even though Kane circled back around and rehired him, Holden's, not necessarily on his rocker. He may be off it. He may be so angry at Damian and at Kane that he was willing to take a life to punish them and was targeting Kane. I mean, Holden's not an obvious suspect because of proximity. He could have taken the job with Kane so he appears loyal and just could be, doing things for him. But now he's got access to get info so he could set up this awful thing and lashed out like a psycho. Now, I don't know if Holden's got it in him to kill somebody, but Audra thinks he's trouble. So he's a possibility I want to mention, and he could have hired someone to do it while he had this ironclad alibi back in GC. The next person to talk about is Carter, the assistant that Kane has got working for him. We've seen a few times, and Carter might be sick and tired of Kane and his games. Maybe Carter thought Kane was going to do him like he did Damian and Holden and fire and betray him, replace him with Phyllis or something. Maybe Carter wanted to stop Kane before he could betray him. Abused assistants that plot against their bosses is pretty common on, whodunit and police crime and murder shows. So Carter might have been tired of taking orders and wanted some payback. So I think he's a possibility to consider. The third suspect to talk about is Kane himself, because he might have hired the attacker to stab him just a little after drugging him so that Chance could test Kane for drugs and go, oh no, you were poisoned and assaulted. And it could have even been Carter doing it because Kane asked him to. So this could be a move to keep Kane's unwilling guest there longer as a plan B. Maybe Kane set it up ahead of time just in case. And then once Phyllis told him that the Newmans know what he's up to back in Genoa City, Kane might have told the would-be assassin, go for it, just, stab carefully. And maybe Damian just wound up in the way, and maybe the attacker was only supposed to do some light stabbing so that Kane would be hurt, but it'd be non-fatal. But then Damian wound up there, and it just kind of spiraled out of control, and it was an accident that anybody died. Since Kane brought Chance to the chateau and said someone was trying to kill him, he knew something was up. Now, maybe that's because he got threatening notes, or maybe that's because he set it up, Maybe Kane knew because he planned it all. It definitely seems possible that it was a strategic move on Kane's part that just went sideways. All right, the fourth subject on our plausible killer list may be Colin. I know Kane said his dad died and that Colin changed before he died, but maybe neither of those things are true. If you remember, Kane said they sold his dad's land in Australia to get seed money, and then they used that to start the Dumas Empire. But maybe Colin is alive and he and Kane disagreed over him coming out and revealing his identity and pulling off the Dumas mask. Lily hated Colin, and maybe he hated her back, and he thought Kane was risking too much for her. Maybe Colin just wanted to scare Kane straight, and the attacker went too far and too hard and got the wrong target. However, I do think Colin is a long shot because Tristan Rogers is reportedly in ill health and probably isn't up to reviving the character of Colin, but I thought we needed to mention him. The last and most likely option in my mind is Victor Newman. We all know the mustache is ruthless, and he may think he's doing Genoa City a favor by taking Kane out because he knows he's coming for Chancellor and possibly others. And it could be that Victor was planning to kill Dumas and set it up once he knew the location of the party, even before he and everybody else found out it was Kane Ashby behind the Dumas identity. Victor has been dealing with him messing up his deals for years, but because nobody knew who Dumas really was and he was so elusive, Victor couldn't get to him before. So maybe he decided to use the party as an excuse to get rid of a major threat to him, to his family, to his legacy. I could totally see Victor going to extremes like this and putting Kane in harm's way. I do like the idea of it being either Kane or Victor, but what I'm really worried about is that Josh Griffith has written something stupid and it's a random nobody who hates Kane because of some business deal gone wrong or some ex-lover we don't know about. Over the years, Kane has probably made a lot of enemies, including Victor, but he had stepped on people on his way up the ladder, I'm certain. So for years, Kane's been doing these big deals and doing people dirty. So one of them might have been looking for payback. I think it'd be pretty dull if it were somebody that we don't know and don't care about, but that is also quite plausible. I just find it dodgy that Kane just happened to have Chance there, and then there was this murder mystery, and it's going to force everybody to stay longer when they all want to leave. So Kane might have staged this as a distraction to buy more time to accomplish his objectives in Genoa City, but it went off the rails, and Damian is accidentally dead. We'll see.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.